In a not-so-distant corporate dystopia, a mysterious rage-inducing virus known as ID7 breaks out in a high-rise law firm, causing its infected victims to lose all inhibitions and moral restraint. When Derek Cho, a recently fired employee, gets trapped inside the quarantined building, he joins forces with Melanie Cross, a client seeking justice, to fight their way to the top, literally and figuratively. What follows is a blood-soaked, adrenaline-fueled descent into corporate chaos, fueled by revenge, rage, and a whole lot of office supplies turned deadly. Steven Yeun plays Derek Cho, a relatable, stressed-out corporate cog who's just hit rock bottom. Yeun does a fantastic job walking the line between everyman and antihero. You believe his arc from disillusioned employee to full-blown office warrior. Samara Weaving, as Melanie Cross, is electric. To this day, I can't think of a single movie I've seen of her where she doesn't hit the role out of the park. In Mayhem, she brings a sharp blend of ferocity and humor to the screen, often stealing scenes with her unpredictability and raw energy. Her chemistry with Yeun is undeniable, and her performance adds real punch to the film's emotional and comedic beats. Together, they're not your typical heroes. They're desperate, pissed off, and infected with a virus that makes them run wild. And that's what makes them so damn fun to watch. The villains of Mayhem aren't just the people, they're corporate culture itself. But if we're talking individuals, Caroline Chikese as the Siren, Stephen Brand as the Boss, and Dallas Roberts as the Reaper deliver deliciously over-the-top performances. Each antagonist represents a toxic tier of corporate corruption, legal manipulation, abusive leadership, and betrayal from within. They're caricatures, sure, but intentionally so. They embody everything wrong with cutthroat capitalism, and Mayhem revels in tearing them down. The script by Matthias Caruso balances satire and savagery with style. The dialogue is biting, often hilarious, and surprisingly insightful. There's a rhythm to it. Characters speak with intention, venom or pure unfiltered madness, depending on where they are in their infection arc. There are some great one-liners, like Melanie's dry quips or Derek's slow transformation into a middle-finger-wielding man on a mission. While not always subtle, the writing never loses momentum and keeps the action and the audience engaged. The comedy in Mayhem is situational, character-driven, and heavily laced with social commentary. The absurdity of brutal office violence makes it hilarious and horrifying all at once. There's something disturbingly funny about watching people in business suits beat each other senseless over a conference table. The comedy works because it exaggerates very real frustrations we've all had with bureaucracy and burnout. While Mayhem isn't a traditional horror film, it has plenty of gore and brutality. The virus is the vehicle for chaos, but the real horror lies in what people are willing to do when permitted to let loose. There's blood, lots of it, but it's stylized, not gratuitous. There are moments of real tension, especially as the infection spreads and the characters must navigate moral gray areas. And while jump scares aren't part of the formula, the violence is visceral enough to keep horror fans satisfied. So what's my final verdict? Mayhem is a slick, savage, and subversive thrill ride that gleefully blends office satire with horror action mayhem. Fueled by standout performances, especially from Samara Weaving, and backed by a tight script, this film delivers both blood and brains. It's not trying to reinvent the genre, but it does add to it. I would gladly recommend this film to anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but personally, I doubt it's a film that will ever prompt you to rewatch it again. It's better off being a once-off, one-stop shop. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more movie reviews.